مساء الخير، مساء الورد، مساء النور، اهلا وسهلا بالمشاهدين اينما كنتم. ليس ببيروت بل هذه حلقة خاصة عن باريس فاشن ويك. أسابيع الموضة حكينا عنها كثير، بلشنا بميلان، بلشنا بنيويورك، ميلان، وبعدين وكان لندن وبعدين باريس. ففي باريس دايما يكون في المفاجآت وأهم المصممين بيقدموا أحلى ما عندهم. أكيد هيدا بديهي وطبيعي لأنها عاصمة الموضة. صحافة، تمويل، شوبز، ملايين وبلايين من الدولارات يضخها عالم الأزياء. فالمحك والفصل بيكون في عروض الأزياء اللي بتكون خلال أسبوع الموضة. أهم عرض للأزياء هذا الموسم أكيد كان لمسيو إليساب، ورح تشوفوا الليلة الكثير من المفاجآت في تغطية حصرية لسيد عالم الأزياء مسيو إلي. أهلا وسهلا بالجميع في حلقة خاصة من باريس فاشن ويك. دقيق في عمله، متفانن up to the smallest detail. لازم يكون هو يحط فيه ايده ويشارك بالتفاصيل الأخيرة. حبينا ندخل عالم مسيو إليساب ونبتديه من الفيتنج. كان دائما عالمه، واستطاع من خلال موهبته الفذة الوصول إلى ذوق المرأة من حول العالم. باريس أعطته مساحة للإبداع، فرسم اسمه على خارطة الأوت كوتور وبقوة. I can't believe what I've done. I only wanted some fun. Some fun. I'm not young and I'm not foolish. I don't know quite what made me do this. And now I feel I have to run. Now I feel I have to run. And it feels like my heart's on fire. I should have shut my mouth and walked away. A goose I have been. I'm burning outside and in. And in. I should have known I would not like it.
I wish I thought before I tried it. And all the warning signs were there. All the warning signs were there. And my tears won't douse this fire. I wish I shut my mouth and walked away. She burns, 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 she
بعدما أخذ وقته في وضع بصمته جاءت خطوة البريت-à-porter، وكانت خطوة دقيقة ومدروسة ومتجانسة مع كونسبت إلي صعب. امرأته حالمة، يت جريئة، رومانسية وصارمة، تقليدية وحديثة، معادلة صعبة أو يس، لكنه حققها وبخطوات ثابتة.
جاردان دو دونتيل، هذا هو عنوان لكوليكسيون لربيع وصيف 2014. الحدث راح يكون بجاردان دو تويلغي، وراح نشوف مع بعض مين اللي راح يكون وكيف راح تكون ردة فعل الموجودين في عرض مسيو إلي صعب.
Tell us about the style of tonight.
Yes, incredibly beautiful, very chic, very slick, very glamorous hair. It's not, this really, I'll tell you the idea behind the story for the hair. So it's like you really kind of, go on Dora. The idea is there's a lot of floral prints, and the concept behind the show is it's a garden through 24 hours. And the garden is full of really beautiful flowers, but they're not just beautiful flowers, they are dangerous flowers, like the Venus flytrap and stuff like that. And the Venus flytrap is obviously the woman wearing this, being disguised by the flowers. So she is supposed to look, I wouldn't say hard, but very strong and very empowered. We're doing very straight hair that's really shiny at the front. We are combing it back with a very wide tooth comb, so you get lines. There's a very beautiful gold headband which we're going to put over here. Then we're going to cover the sides of the headband. I think he's incredibly articulate. He's very concise. He has incredibly good taste, and he likes things that look like they're done very well. He doesn't like anything to be trashed or anything. He has like very elegant, sophisticated taste.
Thank you so much.
You're really welcome.
So, tell us about tonight's look. Is there going to be a garden? Are we going to see a beautiful sirene in a garden?
Well, I don't know. You can call it the way you want. What I know, you are going to see beautiful women in beautiful dresses with hopefully a beautiful makeup. And the makeup this season is, I call it the 50 Shades of Grey. That's what we play with for colors, you know, like different shade of gray that we do. We do a beautiful dégradé, a lot of black mascara, black pencil inside the eyes. So the inspiration was from Kristen Stewart in, you know, the vampire movie. So that's what we are doing, you know, we're making lighter, it's softer than what we usually do. You know, Mr. Saab loves makeup on the eyes, you know. I'm not sure one day you will see her lips, you know. But so focus on the eyes, of course, but we're making it very moody, very grayish, a little bit like the end of the night. You know, it's falling down a little bit, it's running down a little bit under the eyes. And the rest of the face is very nude, beautiful skin, of course, a bit of contour, girl love it, and a nude lipstick color.
How do you make it all balanced between the different models and girls? You have a pale one, you have maybe a darker skin of models.
Well, you know, it's only about layering colors, you know, and being a light hand. And a lot of people are like you asking me, you know, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm just looking at the girl. You know, that's what you do. You just have to pay attention of who you are working on and make the makeup fit on every girl. So on a very pale skin blonde, you know, you have to be very light hand, and maybe on a dark skin, you know, you want to push it a little more to, you know, to recreate the same contrast.
Are these the colors of the spring-summer 2014, or it doesn't have to?
It doesn't have to be. I think, you know, with Monsieur Saab, I don't know if he's looking for trend. You know, his heart goes to beautiful women.
How do you guys balance between because you guys are one of the best makeup artists, how do you balance between your personality in your touches and the designer so nobody goes over the other one?
Well, that's the beauty of you know, a relationship with someone. I've been working with Elie Saab for many years now. We had an amazing relation, and the secret is respect. It's not my show, it's Mr. Saab's show.
How can you handle all this? What do you take in the
This is show number 1. This is show number 5 that I'm working on. I've got another show when I'm finished from here. So it's about being quite methodical. It's about making sure you make your lists and make sure all the people are doing what they're meant to be doing and trusting them to do it. That's the best you can do. Trusting your team. It's never me doing it all. It's a whole group of people, so it's good.
You're not only dealing with different shows and themes and personalities, also designers and spirits, so how can you cope?
I mean, I think you have to be very respectful of the house you're working in. You have to really, I mean, it's almost like separate little drawers in your head where you're thinking about things in a very specific way that relate to that specific designer. And I think that's what you have to constantly remember, that there's this need to understand each individual. It's like having lots of children and really appreciating each one for their strengths and their weaknesses and understanding how to really make it as easy as possible for them. You're just a facilitator of projecting their vision.
One of your best shows and one of your worst?
I'm going to say I don't kiss and tell.
لازلنا مكملين معكم، ما تروحوش بعيد، لحظات قليلة وراجعين لنكتشف أيضا كواليس العرض الحصري والخاص لمسيو إلي صعب في أسبوع الموضة من باريس.
So open the box, don't need no key, I'm unlocked, and I won't tell you to stop. Oh yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Helen. I love Alessandro.
So what do you think of Mr. Eli's style?
I think he's wonderful. He's elegant and just so chic and fantastic. I'm excited to see the show.
Do you always intend to come to Fashion Weeks, or it depends on your mood?
It depends on my work. So if I have the time, I love to make it. Paris is my favorite city, one of my favorite cities, and I'm happy to be here.
What is your latest news?
We've just finished shooting my show, Rizzoli and Isles, and we go back in January for the 5th season.
So great to see you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Monsieur Saab, bonsoir ومبروك على الكوليكسيون.
ميرسي، اهلا وسهلا فيك.
جاردان دي دونتيل، اي حديقه هالمره
اخذنا الانسبيريشن هالمره من جنينه انجليزيه، من هيك هالشيء ساعدنا انه يكون عندنا الالوان اللي شفتها على البوديوم اليوم، مثل الاحمر يلي مثل بوغانفيليا، مثل الابيض يلي هو الكاميليا، الزهر يلي بلون الورد المعودين عليه، لأن الإنجليز مشهور إنه لما بيعملوا جنينة بحطوا فيها كتير أشكال ورد، وهذا الشيء كتير ساعدنا إنه نركب الألوان تبع الكولكشن.
اكيد مسيو إلي خلص تريد مارك، انت افونغارديست بس، ودائما بنسالك نفس السؤال، وميم طون عم تشتغل اوت كوتور، عم بتفكر بالبريتا بورتي، عم بتفكر بايفنت، عم بتفكر ب 60,000 شغله، وكمان في اشياء اراوند ذا وورلد عم بتصير هلا، الترند كله راح الفلورلز ما الفلورلز، وشفنا كمان الاكزيبيسيون، ما حسيت انه يمكن هذا حيأثر على لو تيم تبع البريتا بورتي؟
ما بتصور انه التعاون مع الفور سيزون وجاف اثر على هالكولكشن، بس اللي ساعد انه التندنس هلا كثير ورد بالعالم كله، وبحس انه الورد شيء كثير فيمينين، وخصوصا كيف استعملنا البيتال الورد مع الخرز والبايات الصغير وتحته مبطن بالدونتيل. بحس انه هيدي الكولكشن يمكن من اكثر مره استعملنا فيه اشكال دونتيل، انه السمكات من الشونتيي للاسمكشي، وحاولنا نقصه بطريقه كانه قماش عادي اكثر ما عملنا انه مثل ما بنعمل الدونتيل بالعاده، قصيناه كانه قماش عادي، وزدنا عليه البوندات يلي هن كانوا كثير عاملين جرافيك على الفستان، مغطين كل الخياطات تبع الفستان بالبوند القماش.
My hair is covered in debris, and you reach out and touch my knee.
الاوفرول شفناه يمكن قبل، بس هالمره يمكن انت قدمته بطريقه ان تي بو ديفيرونت.
بدي اقول لك شغله، انه الاوفر هول بالكولكشن البريتا بورتي عنا كثير اخذ مطرح، عملته بطريقه مختلفه حتى يلبق مع المجموعه، يمكن صار في دونتيل زياده، صار عامل الأكثر بكتير نعومية وبكتير أنوثة، من فوق صدر صغير دونتيل ومن تحت بنطلون أسود. يمكن هي من المرات القليلة اللي استعملنا، اللي حطينا هالطول بالكولكشن، والشورتات استعملنا قبل شورتات بس هالمرة كانوا شوي قصار زيادة عن اللزوم.
قبل ما تطلع
الكوليكسيون اكيد انه اتس بزنس ستادي اتعملت، عارفين السوق اللي بدنا نروح، عارفين الفيدباك من البريفيوس كولكشن. فينا نقول احنا ولا مره حسب يعني اعتبرناك مصمم عربي لانه انت من اول مره يو ستامب اوت برا، بس انه
بس انا مصمم عربي.
يو ار مصمم
اكيد.
لا ما بحياتنا اعتبرنا السوق العربي بالدرجه.
لا اكيد
دائما كان السوق العالمي.
السيدة العربية هي اكثر انسانة مفضلة علي، لان امنت فيي انه انا وكنت بعدني باول طريقي، والسوق العربي بالنسبة لي سوق كتير 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 مهم. بس انه هلا بالفعل السوق العربي بيمثل من اللي عنا اياه حول العالم حوالي 20%. بس أنا ممتن لكل السيدات يلي حبوا اللي عملته من أول أيامي، وفخور أني مصمم عربي، أنه عم بقدر وسع النطاق تبعي حول العالم كله.
قديش عم بتحاول تحافظ على الستيل تبع إليساب اللي صار تريد مارك؟ يعني في بعض النقاد بيقولوا إليساب بيعمل بيوتيفul كولكشنز بس always سيف، مش من الناس اللي بيغامروا وبيطلع سرعة جديدة.
السيدات اللي بتوجه لهم إليساب ما بيحبوا المغامرة. يعني بده يكونوا مميزين، مش مثل هذيك السنة، يعني مش مثل هذاك الموسم، بطريقة جديدة. بس أول شيء البصمة تبعي لازم تكون موجودة، إنه مش معقول إنه كل موسم أعمل بصمة جديدة حتى إنه يقولوا إنه إليساب غير. أنا في ناس لحقتني وناس تحترم يلي عم بعمله، وناس أنا بحترمهم عم بقدم لهم الكولكشن. يعني بحس إنه هذا الشيء كتير طبيعي إني حافظ على البصمة تبعي. ما بآمن كتير بالمفاجآت، لأن المفاجأة هي بتعيش ثواني، بس تضل مثل ما أنت حتعيش كل العمر.
كيف تتعامل مع الإعلام؟ كان في إعلام مكتوب، كان في إعلام مرئي، الآن اللي عم بيسير الفاشن بيزنس صار البلوجرز. عم تولي اهتمام لهالجانب؟
عم نعمل قد ما لازم، بس اللي موجود كتير كبير.
نيويورك، لندن، ميلان، باريس، سوري ما في ولا بلد عربي. هل من الصعب على العالم العربي الذي قدم أهم المصممين على الساحة العالمية أن يكون له أسبوعا للموضة؟ Arab Fashion Week حلم قد يتحقق.
هذا الشيء اللي صعب كان بده اياه من اكثر من 10 سنين، بس للاسف الشديد انه ما في تعاون. لان انا من زمان حطيت كل طاقتي وكل شيء بقدر عليه بتصرف كل المصممين اللبنانيين خصوصا، بس ما كان في تجاوب. حلمي انه يكون في اسبوع موضه بلبنان، حلمي وانه ان شاء الله بيتحقق. بس مش انه مش عم بسعى، سعيت وعملت كتير تنازلات وحلم من الاحلام اللي عندي اياها انه شوف لبنان عاصمه من عواصم الموضه بالعالم، لان عندها كل شيء بس ناقصها التعاون بين الشباب المصممين حتى تصير موجوده.
حاسس بانه في الوطن العربي في طاقات ممكن تقدم اشياء جديده، حاسس انه في فعلا اسماء ممكن توصل للعالميه.
اكيد بقول لك في كثير اسماء عنا بالعالم العربي كثير قوية وكثير بحترمهم، بس بدي اقول لك شغله، الموضوع مش بس انك تكون شاطر، الموضوع في حده كثير اشياء، في انك كيف توجه موهبتك وكيف ما تكون مطبوع على حالك، كيف تتعاون مع الناس حواليك، كيف بابك مفتوح، كيف كتير النجاح هو كتير اشياء.
سؤال هلا قلت لي بانه هذا الصوت اللي كان برا اكثر شيء بيزعجك بالفاشن شوز، انه لما يكونوا بيشيلوا هالبوديوم اكثر شيء يسعدك at the end of each show.
مش يسعدني، اكثر شيء بخوفني لما تبلش الموسيقى وبلش الدفيليه. بيكون قلبي عم بدق بكتير كتير كتير سرعة
بعد كل هالسنين كلها.
كأنه أول مرة يعني لما تبلش الموسيقى وقبل ما تطلع أول بنت بحس إنه قلبي عم بدق مليون يمكن.
جديد مسيو ألي صعب في هذا الموسم هو المعرض اكزيبيشن لفساتينو بفندق الفور سيزون جورج 5. كان هذا التعاون مع مصمم الأزهار العالمية المعروف جيف ليثم. راح نشوف ونتعرفوا مع بعض على الايفنت الاكسكلوسيف اللي كان بفندق الجورج 5 قبل ما يكون لنا حوار خاص وحصري مع جيف هيمسيلف.
Welcome to the after show of Eli Saab.
Start from the glamorous collaboration with Mr. Eli Saab. How did it come and put up all together?
Well, Eli and I have been great friends for years, and so the collaboration really for me was a very natural thing because I love Eli. He's an amazing man. I have such respect for him, not only as a designer but as a person, because I really feel like he's just like his gowns and his designs. He's very elegant. He's refined, his attention to detail. So as I mentioned before to someone else, I'd worked with Alexander McQueen. I've worked with Philip Tracy on a hat exposition here. So it had been quite so many years. And then I just decided, one night Ellie and I were at dinner and we decided, let's do this collaboration here at the hotel. And really, I am quite obsessed with, going to New York when they have the expositions for, when they had the exposition in the Met for the Met Ball. And so we really wanted to create an ambiance here that was very elegant, clean, and simple, that really showed his designs off. At the same time, having, the same impact with my flowers. So that's really how it started, was just a conversation, and it evolved into something as beautiful as it is today. So I really feel, nowadays, for artists, for designers, for the collaboration is very important. It's not all about me being the designer. I think it's about putting great designers and artists together to create something even more special. Because really, we're in basically, 2014. Everything's been done before. Now it's about taking great minds and great artists together and creating an experience that people have never seen before.
Definitely. Well, having two great minds together, two creative guys in the same work, it has to come from a click, from something.
It definitely has to come from a click. It has to come from a want or a need to do something like that. And I've always been, such a great fan of Ellie's work, as I mentioned before. And he has such a fan base here with our clients in the hotel. And, with the amount of clients that we have that wear his designs. And just, as I mentioned before, my relationship with him. So it was just important for us to do this at this time.
How did you balance it? That we can still see the beauty of the dresses, and then you're there.
Well, the whole idea,
illuminating it.
Well,
without...
it was just the idea was always to have, the gowns kind of like da-da, and then have the flowers kind of growing up from the ground. So we didn't want it to be kind of everything always needed to be, the gowns, and then the flowers were kind of the accessory coming out underneath.
Perfectly.
Because they deserve, they're so beautiful and they're so detailed that they deserve to be looked as if they're walking on roses.
That's Mr. Eli's world, which is the haute couture and couture. How did you start your world? How did you create your own planet?
My world,
because
really,
we say that you are in your own planet somehow.
Someone actually, I was doing a wedding in the south of France this last weekend, and someone did say to me, they said, Jeff, you're living on another world.
That's
we
it.
were talking about like budgets for weddings. And I told them, they asked me, how much was the last wedding you did? And I told them the number, and they said, you're living in an unreal world.
What was the number?
It was a big number. And they said, you're living, well, we've done those before. You're living in an unreal world. And I said, no, I'm living in my world. And my world is so beautiful with the fact that, I started with the Four Seasons. I've worked for the Four Seasons for 19 years. I would not be where I am today, who I am today, if it was not for this company, especially for the George Cinq here. I started my career in Beverly Hills at the Four Seasons there. When the George Cinq was reopened as a Four Seasons, that really launched my career. I owe my career to the Four Seasons, to His Highness for, allowing us to do what we do here in this hotel, because really at this hotel, we revolutionize the way people think about flowers. And as you see with this exposition with Ellie, from the things we've done in the past, and it just gets better. And people often say to me, aren't you worried, you're just going to keep doing the same thing? I said, no, because we don't. Aren't you worried that people copy your work? And I'm like, no, because by the time they start copying my work, we're onto something else. We're onto something new. So I kind of feel like, in a way, people often say to Karl Lagerfeld, like, when is he going to, retire from Chanel and do something else?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like the Karl of flowers, or the Tom Ford, as I would prefer, to be, where we're just evolving, we're creating, we're inspiring, and we're still creating the wow factor that this hotel has. And I really owe it all to this hotel, putting my name on the map.
So what is your secret? What is your vision of fruit? Because some people would say that flower is a flower. Flower is already beautiful. What would you make? What is the plus you can make?
Probably, my biggest, when I think about my work, there's three words. It's keeping things clean, simple, and chic. Those are the most important things, I think, when you're working with flowers. Really keeping the atmosphere in mind is very important. When I think about working here in the lobby of the George Cinq, it really is here a canvas for my work. So that's very important for me. And just, for me, traveling. I travel around the world so much, and I'm, often, in Asia, or I'm often in the United States, and that really inspires me. Looking through fashion magazine, watching, movies from the 60s and the 70s, that's such an inspiration for me. But I am my worst enemy, because I'm always have to outdo my last design, because my work here at the hotel is so watched. It's on display every week. It's like having a new art exposition every 3 weeks.
So how do you deal with the outside business? Because life is not an orchid or the rose, and you
I'm
have
very
to...
blessed in the fact that, you know, in my outside business, because I mean here, and then I also do events. I was just lucky enough to design the wedding of Tina Turner last month. I've worked with, you know, everyone from the Queen of England to, you know, the royals in Qatar to Tina Turner to Mick Jagger to the Clintons to I'm the most blessed, lucky man I know whom works in this industry. I was on the Oprah Winfrey show, her last season, and she had an episode on her show called People with Dream Jobs. And that's really what I have here at the George Cinq and in general is I have a dream job. I don't know anyone else who's as blessed as I am who really is able to just create and create happiness when people look at my work, and I'm just amazed every day.
How do you deal with people with no sense of creativity or style, or maybe the zeros in the check will just let you like forget about it?
Oh no, I mean that we're always up for good charity, aren't we? No, but I don't think it's so much about the zeros in the check. I think it's not about. I think everyone's creative in their own way. I really feel they are. I just feel like people are. They're really hard. It's hard for them to express themselves. I mean, we're lucky because we're able to kind of travel the world and see beautiful things. I just feel like everyone has their own inspiration, everyone has their own desire and creativity. It's just allowing themselves to let it go.
Any tips for our viewers from the Middle East? By the way, this channel is owned by Prince Walid bin Talal, who owns the hotel also. So, any tips for people, like any inspiration from Jeff?
I think really, I mean, the 3 tips I said, you know, when you're working with flowers and design, like Ellie's work, you know, keep everything clean, simple, and chic. You know, always work with monochromatic colors. As you see behind us, we have this sea of purple. You know, use, you know, hues of lavenders and purples and blues together. If you're doing white, use all white together. If you're using oranges, use oranges and yellows. It's about keeping things monochromatic and simple and not thinking about it too much.
This episode is dedicated to Mr. Eli. Would you like to tell him something that you couldn't tell him?
To Eli?
Yeah.
Love you more. And he's just an amazing man. And you know, as I walk through the lobby of the hotel, and most importantly, the guests and the people whom have walked through the lobby of the George Cinq during Fashion Week this last 10 days, it's in my life. I always say, you know, when can I meet, like, or when can I stop? I'm never going to meet anyone who inspires me even more, and Ellie inspires me. He inspires me with his spirit. He inspires me with his sense of humor. He inspires me with his design, but even as a person, you know, he's a real angel. So it's been an amazing collaboration, and here at the George Cinq and with the Four Seasons, we could not be happier to have him, you know, so close to our hearts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
وثناء، شيئان ينتظرهما كل المصممين ويترقبوهما في نهاية كل عرض. البعض يتقبلها بكل روح رياضية، والبعض الآخر يتذمر ويرفض حتى معرفتها.
أكثر تعليق أزعجك من الصحافة؟
بيزعجني التعليق البايخ، وللأسف إنه شوي قليل. الناس يلي قلمهم مزبوط صايب، لأن فيهم يخلوك تسرع بالشيء اللي عم تعمله، يما أيام فيهم يلفتوا لك نظرك لشيء أنت مش منتبه له.
طب هل الصحفيين ورؤساء التحرير المجلات العالمية اللي بيكونوا موجودين في الفرونت روز صارت مقياس لنجاح المصمم؟
السيدة يلي بتجي بتدفش الباب وبتفوت لعندي. أنا سر نجاحي بعرفه من وراء هذا الشيء. قد ايه دفشة الباب والسيدات يلي حابين شو عم بقدم كبيرة، قد ايه هو النجاح كبير.
ميرسي بوكو.
انا اللي بشكرك. ميرسي بوكو، ميرسي لوجودك معنا. ميرسي.
إن شاء الله أنتم استمتعتوا بكل ما قدمنا لكم الليلة في تغطيتنا الحصرية لباريس فاشن ويك. موعدنا راح يكون الأسبوع القادم بالجزء الثاني لهذه التغطية الحصرية من أسبوع الموضة في باريس، خبايا وخفايا الكواليس ومنصات العرض فقط على الBC. انتبهوا لي على حالكم، موعدنا قريبا إن شاء الله. تبقوا على خير.